Ryan Judd is a world champion pole dancer. What got you into pole dancing? Because that's a new kind of sport, and you called it a sport. So tell us a little bit about the passion of yours.
So I totally got into it on accident. I was at Gold's Gym, now known as Vasa, actually here in Utah Valley, and
I've worked out there.
Yeah, so I was there trying to burn off the baby weight from my second baby, and one of my gym regular friends, I only knew him from the gym. He was an older stonemason guy, totally great. He came up to me one day and said, you're doing a lot of core workouts. And I'm like, yeah, just had a baby.
Yeah.
Totally needed to get back into shape. So he invited me to this core class, is what he said.
Okay.
And I was like, great. And he goes, I'll come pick you up. It's on Tuesday night. He came to my house, picked me up. I thought we were going back to Gold's Gym later on that night. And we started to drive up to Salt Lake, which is 45 minutes away from where we were living.
Wait, where are we going?
So I realized I'm extremely friendly and trust people too much because I didn't really know him very well. When we got there, it was all men in the class except for the female instructor.
Oh,
and it was a pole dancing class only. Nothing sexy or erotic about it. They actually called it core pole. It was reps and sets. There was no combos or transitions. It was literally flag, hold it, come down. Other side, hold it, come down. And it was just a workout base type of thing. And I instantly fell in love and got hooked, and I was totally staring, role reversal, I guess, from what you'd expect, but I was instantly hooked.
So cool.
I went only on Tuesdays for the first 4 months to this pole class, and I sucked. I was terrible. I couldn't figure it out. I knew I was strong from the gym. I just wanted to be amazing yesterday.
Yeah.
So I actually talked to my husband to come up to the studio because he was my trainer at the time. Well, he wasn't literally my trainer, but he was training me.
Yeah.
And I told him to come to the class so he can kind of guide me in the direction that I need to go in as far as how do I progress faster. So after he came to the class and watched what everyone was doing, he changed my gym routine.
Wow.
The next 2 months, and instantly from my 4-month mark to my 6-month mark, so only in 2 months I was strong enough to go twice a week. And then at the 6-month mark, the studio owner said, surprise, you're taking over the advanced class.
Wow.
Because you're the most advanced at the time.
In 2 months?
So that was in 6 months total.
Oh, total, wow.
And then, so 2 weeks after I became the instructor, as soon as I became the instructor, I found out that Utah was having their first ever pole competition.
Okay.
And the studio owner entered me into it. I didn't know that routines were a thing. I didn't know that this was actually a sport.
Music.
And I didn't know any of that. I had no stage practice, nothing.
With snakes and everything. Right?
Yeah, so I found out it was in 2 weeks, so every move I learned in those 6 months, I basically just tied together and did the competition in 2 weeks, and I won, which was awesome. So I won.
Surprise.
Yeah, I won the Utah title, and then 2 months later, I did another competition, West Coast Regionals. That got me my pro card.
In California? Where?
That was in California.
Okay.
It was the whole West Coast, but it was in California.
Woo-hoo.
2 months after that was in New York for Nationals, which then placed me in Worlds in Switzerland 2 months after that.
What?
And then 2 months after that, I won in Japan at Internationals, and then started touring and got all my sponsors.
I know you have a couple people here. They come to your house, right?
Yeah.
Explain how that works.
So
My foot's asleep. Okay.
It's tingly.
Yeah. Okay.
I offer packages where when I'm not on tour teaching at workshops like specialty studios or anything like that, I usually have people travel from all over the globe, and they'll come as guests to us, and I call it next level training. So it's kind of boot camp style where it's just a ton of hours all of a sudden crammed into 2 to 3 days is all. but it guarantees the client 1 to 2 levels more advanced than when they got there. So
Okay.
it's like the shortcut to awesome. So I actually do have 2 clients here right now from Seattle. Next week my 2 clients are coming from Texas. So what you're gonna do first is we'll just start you off with something really easy.
Okay.
Okay, so rub your hands together. Okay, and you're gonna go back to the camera. Okay.
Okay.
Inside hand lower,
Uh-huh.
outside hand higher.
Okay.
You're gonna invert,
Okay.
and you're gonna straddle.
I'm gonna do that.
You're gonna do that.
Okay.
Okay, and then you're gonna come out really slow.
What did you say? Keep my wood.
So try to look down to the floor when you're upside down, and try to keep your inner thighs to touch the pole. So you're gonna straddle the pole. So you're gonna go
Okay.
first this way,
Uh-huh.
and then invert and straddle.
Okay.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Go. Ha! Straddle your legs.
Okay.
Drop them down. Point them toes.
I'm doing
You're totally doing it. Like, look, I'm not even holding her. She's awesome. That was awesome.
Okay, I want to try it one more time. Okay. Here.
Yeah,
Here.
yeah. In front of the pole. So start in front,
Okay.
and then kick up.
Kick up like this.
Yep. Okay, and then straddle.
Okay.
And point them toes.
So pretty.
Now we're gonna go shoulder mount. So you're gonna have your back against the pole.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to crank your head back. This hand on the outside is going to be lower and this one higher.
Okay.
Okay. And you're going to do the same push and straddle.
Okay.
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 So I'll have your back this way because it's a good angle.
Okay.
So my fingers bring down lower. This one lower. Shoulders the push. Hands are the pull. Here.
I don't grab it like this?
Nope.
Okay.
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 Yep.
Okay, so I'm just straddling
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah. And then
Do
come
I
out.
look okay? Okay.
Okay. And then roll back out.
Okay, I
Same
got
way
it,
you
Greg.
came.
I think I got it.
Yep. There you go.
I'm sliding on the pole.
That's awesome. For you or
Something
for me?
For you.
For me.
Like, just show us a little bit of an awesome routine, like the X thing. Make it look so easy. Oh man. Woo! That is incredible. That is so cool.
Good job.
Wow. So what's the X thing that you did with,
With the baby,
is that what is it called?
it's an iron X. So
Iron X.
yeah, you go into a different grip, but it's kind of a leg straddle that I did.
Okay.
So imagine me 51 pounds heavier.
51 pounds heavier. I can't imagine that. I really can't imagine that.
So here.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That is so awesome. That is incredible. That's so cool. Like, are your abs like, okay, I gotta feel your abs. So amazing. That is so cool. One of the things I posted the picture of you with her Mrs. Utah picture where she was in the Mrs. America pageant back the year before I was born in 1968. And so I wanted to share a little bit about her experience with that because she had how many kids at the time?
10.
10 kids at
10
the time.
kids.
And tell us a little bit about how you got into the program, or the pageant actually, the contest.
Well, it was sort of crazy. A friend entered my name in the pageant, and I told her when she entered, I said, that's crazy because I got 10 children. And so she said, well, don't give them any guff. So she entered my name, and I was so amazed. It was a homemakers contest for the best homemaker, I guess, of America. And so I woke up on April Fool's morning as Mrs. Utah, which was really a surprise. But we went to the Mrs. America contest the next month. I was Mrs. Utah on April 1st. I said it was a big April Fool's joke, but anyway. So, and we had 1 month to prepare, and so then I went to San Diego the next month, and we had 14 events to compete in. which
Not
was,
your usual Mrs. America, like
No.
evening gown and swimsuit. This
No,
was something that was serious, right? So
it was
explain what things you had to do, because I was amazed.
well, we had to prepare a meal again in 45 minutes. We served the firemen and their wives because they had been our chauffeurs all through the pageant. And we had child communication, we had driving, we had interior design, I said child communication, homemaking, different homemaking skills, clothing. Anyway, there were 14 different events. And I was embarrassed because I flunked the child communication event, and I had the most children.
That's pretty funny.
The judge told me after, well, he said, you didn't totally flunk it, but it was okay. I enjoyed getting acquainted. We had a lot of amazing women that were there, all different professions, very lovely, very energetic, and I was honored to be with them because I thought they were amazing women. I had some amazing adventures after that. It led me into doing some teaching for Brigham Young University Education Week, and I got to talk to a lot of youth groups, a lot of women's groups, and it just, I guess it was a breakthrough for me. I thought I was a dowdy little housewife, and it helped me to learn and grow and study. And then, of course, I had to keep myself somewhat in shape, so I took dancing lessons with my children, which was fun.
Plus, Mom took me skiing.
Yeah,
she
we
took
went
us skiing and ice skating, and we'd go swimming. And Mom always did the activities that we did. We did them together, right?
For mothers to teach their daughters how to cook. I know there are a lot of young women today, I say facetiously, that can't even boil water, but that's being very crazy. But I do think it's important for women especially to be able to know what good nutrition is. We have so much fast food, junk food, everything like that. So many soft drinks, caffeinated drinks, and I don't take any medications. I take a baby aspirin, but that's all the medications I take. When doctors check me, they're amazed that I only take a baby aspirin. And so anyway, I'm just trying to keep going, but I think exercise is very, very important. I try to keep going. I don't use a walker, or I haven't joined the Canaanites yet, the Canaanite generation.
And I actually videoed my mom in her pajamas. So she didn't realize I was doing it, but she started showing me her exercise routine of all the things she does. And we have a little clip that I snipped out, but I was so amazed. So I pulled out my camera and I'm like, Mom, I got to video this because it was so amazing. So let's look at that right quick. It's just a minute long.
I try to do 15 or 20.
Mm-hmm.
And then I try to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I try to do this.
Good.
And then I try to do this.
Yep, biceps. That's your bicep muscles.
This is kind of strengthening my hands too.
Of course.
You're muted.
Yeah. Okay.
Tell me when I start again.
Yeah.
Barbie's on.
Barbie's watching, Mom.
Oh, really?
Her on.
Debbie Kane is on. That's really good for your upper back. Like you're doing this, and you're also doing like a deadlift move.
And then one of the hardest for me to do is this.
This is where you leap up on the bed. It's amazing, Mom.
But I used to do this all the time. And this is
I love it. That was amazing. So
I really appreciate the routine though, because I try religiously to do that routine that I go through, 25 forward, and all of that you gave me, that wonderful routine. I go through that at least 3 or 4 times a week. Then I try to ride the recumbent bike to get my heart rate up. And I got some walking sticks to walk up so that because I can't see, I didn't want to
She
stumble
goes
and
walking.
fall. So I'm trying to keep up with President Niels.
Discussed the fact that someday, one day, we needed to form a foundation that did 1 or 2 large fundraisers a year, and they were able to help all throughout the year with people instead of having to use every resource every time to give these benefits that we had. And something that I was always very proud of was the amount of young people that I've always had. I taught my 2 sons, Jordan and Josh, about community service, giving back to this community. And because I was a second mom to all their friends, those kids were told to do it as well. And they grew up giving back to the community. As the days, weeks, months went on, finally a group of friends of mine came over and said, now is the time to start that foundation that we talked about. And we want to include a Josh Gray Memorial Scholarship Fund in that. And the work that we do with PATH is the very epitome of what Josh wanted. Especially children in need were a big passion of his. And
well, you sent me some pictures, so can we show some of those pictures, like
sure,
of some of what Josh did? Like picture number 1, I think that's Josh and Jordan, right?
It is, and it's funny, I remember the actual date of this. It's February 27th, and it would have been Jordan's 20th birthday.
Okay.
The last birthday that he was able to celebrate with his brother. But the reason I know the exact date of the picture is the T-shirt that Josh has on. It was a T-shirt that was created by COSA's, JT and Janet, because they started a scholarship fund for a student, Falabe, that had passed away in 2013. He was friends with my older son of an undetected disease. And Josh, on February 27th every year after that, made sure that he wore that shirt in remembrance of Falabe.
Wow, that is so nice. Okay, the funds that people come, how does that work for Pearland? I mean, because that's what it's meant to do, is help in Pearland.
It is. And in PATH, we have been in existence for 2.5 years now, and we are very much learning as we go. We're all volunteers on the board, but basically we have an application, and someone can fill it out on their own behalf, or someone can fill it out on their friend, their relative's behalf. The main requests that we get are emergency situations. Maybe someone that's just been diagnosed with cancer, they don't have insurance, they need to get an initial deposit to the hospital, or unfortunately we've lost a lot of paramedics in the past 2 years, and funeral expenses, it's not something that you plan for, especially if it's for a young person. I've noticed, and it's something that needs to be paid up front if you don't have life insurance, and we've been able to help out in situations such as that. So we, our vice president is in charge of taking the application. We meet as a board, we discuss it, we see how much money we have, and we're able to cut them a check pretty quickly. So not yet, we do not have the funds to maybe make a miracle happen. It's coming though. But right now we do make a difference in those immediate needs right there at the beginning. And other than financial needs, we've done things is get people's house clean when they're sick, or their house painted, take their kids to school, mow their grass. So we're not just a financial, we want to be here to support the community. It's PATH, Pearlanders always there to help. Pearlanders supporting Pearlanders in whatever way that we can.
That's awesome.